industry of like adult film. Was it what you expected doing your first scene? You had me doing moonsaults off the top rope.
Oh my God.
I have implants.
I feel like I know things somewhere. Why?
Why not? I mean, I thought about it for a long while before I did it. I mean, I got a lot of uproar from the whole industry, but who are they to judge me?
Yeah, I mean, what are they?
They can all go to hell. They don't pay my bills.
No, you got a point.
And that's that.
Hello, happy Monday to everyone. I'm sure that you all are very happy that it's the beginning of summer. Not like the official one, but I guess it's almost there because what are we, like a couple weeks away? Thank you very much for joining me on this very fine sunny Monday. Hi, Paul. How are you? And hi, everyone else out there in internet land or something. Hi, Cappy Caveman. Hello. And I know a bunch of you won some prizes a couple of weeks ago when Christian Cipollini was my guest. So I've received the goodies and they will go out this Friday in, hey, Scott, how are you? Hi, Hellstrom, how are you? I know it's just me. Next week, it's April Hunter finally. And then I have other guests after that I cannot disclose right now. But I just had a really amazing interview today with Sherry Curry from The Runaways from my Crazy Train podcast. It was a long conversation. So today it's just a Jasmine day. I mean, ask me anything. Last night, hi, Andrew, how are you? Got my message on eBay? Yes. So basically, I don't know who follows Twitter or anything like that. I know some of you do. Okay. We brought this up like a couple weeks ago with my friend's son beating the shit out of a drag queen during Drag Queen Story Hour. Now there's just this whole flick back on me like, hey, well, what if it was a gym teacher? Hey, Jamal, how are you? Like, what if it's a gym teacher whose balls fell out? It's like it's two different things. You have a man purposely dressed up, parading around little kids. Something's not right with you, man. Like, yeah, a 10-year-old with special needs kicks you in your fucking balls. They have absolutely right to. Absolutely every right. So as you guys probably guessed it, today has just been frantic and just this past week. So we will have guests back on here next week. April Hunter to start. Then we're getting Monique Dupree on here and a few other people that you guys might know and might not know and so forth. Yes, Hellstrom, the teacher's a groomer. Man, I think we should all pitch in and get this kid a Ferrari. It's some crazy times that we're living in right now. And to have someone from The Runaways on the show was something else. I mean, we had a super long talk about a lot of stuff. Veronica Love's going to finally come on the show because I know a lot of you requested her. But again, it's always about seeing what the chemistry is between two people when they talk on a podcast versus just throwing them into a live stream before you put them. Did I ever do that? Did I ever put someone on the live stream first and then put them on my podcast after? I don't know. That's a good question. It really is. Yeah. So it's just one of these manic Mondays, and you could ask me anything. It's just a Jasmine day because it'll be one of these shorter sessions with me, but at least I'm back in somewhat of my my full form, as full as it could possibly be. Everyone that wants stuff, like I said, it goes out later this week when I ship everything else, including Cappy Caveman's address. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be on here anytime soon. We're asking about Mickey Knuckles. She was on an episode of Crazy Train, but I don't foresee her coming on here on this specific one. Yep. Hellstrom, it's interesting because I just saw the red wave starting in Europe, and I don't know if America is going to catch on. I think the thing that really irate me the most when I first saw the very first drag show for kids, Hey John Jay, it was in Texas in a predominantly African-American area, and they're offering parents free drink tickets. Bring your kids in, here's some free drink tickets, and let your kids go perusing up and down a fucking runway with a man dressed as a woman sashaying around. That's what they were doing in Texas. So I'm glad that now we're finally starting to take this country back. And I feel as though a lot of us have to somehow bond together for this. John Jay, I was just telling everyone everything is going out this week for everything. Jamal, I never got your address, so if you could just drop it to me on Instagram, I had something for you. Lizzie Valentine would be an awesome guest for the live stream. That's another one. I feel as though there are a lot of people now that are just, it's funny how a lot of people from the 90s and early 2000s in wrestling are coming together. Hey, Jordan. As you guys know, I have some upcoming dates in the UK, which I'm super stoked about, and upcoming events here, which would be, TBD at a different time. And the anti-aging podcast. I always do these like little roundups or whatever, these little things that I like to do with you people, because I like to kind of round you up to what's going on with me now. The Ageless Evolution with Jasmine Sinclair drops in 2 weeks. Hi, Rebecca. How are you? Hi. What part of the UK are you from, Rebecca? I would love, Rebecca, just because you are from the UK, I hope I meet you. I will be at Champion Extreme Wrestling in August, the over 18 show. Probably for a month is what everyone's asking. So everyone on here for now, if you're looking to up your intimate life, please go ahead to adamandeve.com. That is adamandeve.com, and put in the code crazy train. That's crazy with a K, and get up to 50% off of almost any item and a bunch of free goodies. I know everyone loves free goodies, which will bring me to another part of this program, which is the fun part that everyone likes. Newcastle is great. It's beautiful. Jewel, I can get Jewel back on at some point. Yes. So Newcastle, yes, Newcastle's a very fun place. My favorite show growing up was The Wombles, and that was a British show. I think my favorite character was the wait, your last name is Womble, but you're not like a Womble character like Uncle Bulgaria or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, everyone's asking about Necro Butcher. I guess he's back in the US of A. I brought him back here from Japan. I mean, I have to say thanks to everyone that donated and, gave money to the GoFundMe, which was really sweet, and bought those t-shirts from Rock and Horror Apparel, Deathmatch Outlaws in the UK. Big shout out to them, and to Corey over at Deathmatch Worldwide for the really cool shirts you made, which was amazing. But yeah, so Necro is back. He's doing his thing. I know that the 29th of this month, there's a charity show in Amarillo, and there's like a nice silent auction with it. Rebecca, since you are new on here and you are a Necro fan, I want you to drop us your address in here. I will promise I will take a quick photo of it, then delete it. I will be sending you a Necro Butcher trading card, baseball card. Thank you, Austin Powers. It's a limited edition one. Not everyone has it. I don't know if, I don't think you were at the convention back in April when we were there. But yeah, it's just Jasmine Day today. Just me. Next week, April Hunter joins us. Then Monique Dupree. Angela Amorosa is coming back on again for a second round. Boy, I'm sure she has a lot to say about the stuff going on in the world today. Make sure you're subscribing to my podcast on Apple under Crazy Train Podcast. It's crazy with a K. And on here, if you go back to my previous interviews, you see I always have really good guests on here. So make sure you subscribe for updates and updated videos. I know Veronica Avlov's coming on, but again, like we said, this is just like the couch on Carson. You just can't put anyone on here. Rebecca, drop me your address quickly in here. I'm going to put my camera on. And then I too have giveaways today. That's just a photograph. Yes, I too have giveaways, so I can't tell you what they are. Yes, Diana Prince was just on an episode of Crazy Train, which drops next week, I think, or this week. I don't know what the schedule is on that, but she will be coming onto the live stream, and she and I are actually speaking about possibly co-hosting some episodes of her podcasts. I'm actually going on a guest. Okay, Mayfair Gardens. Okay, and if you could put in your surname as well, that would be super helpful. Yes. Okay, love, no problem. Yeah, just tweet at me, hit me up on Instagram, let me know because it's either myself or someone else that I know, Jordan, I'm bad at getting back to people on social media. Sometimes I'm really, really bad. But I promise I will get back to you regarding that. November, I'm back overseas doing another signing. What's everyone's thoughts, by the way? Um, you know, I'm feeling as though we're kind of a third world country here. And I know this is a safe space. No one abuses anyone here. We talk about anything here, basically. And it seems like we're all normal, like-minded people for the most part. There we go. That looks like a real person right there. Okay. Well, wait a second, Rebecca. Now, before I go into this part of the podcast, I got to ask you. Hey, Ken. Ken, I have guests on next week and after that. It's just a Jasmine day today, so everyone's allowed to ask anything. Keep cats out of it. But, you know, here's a question. Rebecca? Are you related to Lou Nixon, the wrestler? Because you have the same last name. I'm just curious. Like, we're all curious. Yeah, moving right along. So we're finally seeing a red wave in the UK. And, I was posting yesterday about my friend's son, like beating up the drag queen in school. And like, I'm not saying that we're condoning violence against people. Okay. All I'm saying is it just wasn't fair for someone to be doing that to a 10-year-old child, right? And you go into the world of wrestling and stuff like that, and you have a lot of people that are LGB in that world, which is fine and great. I love everyone. Like Larry Legend is such a fun commentator. And then, you're widely accepted, but like pushing it on kids is a whole other story. Just putting it out there. So today is just an Ask Jasmine Day. I know that some people know me on there, some people don't. I know that Ken is ready to cancel me off of Instagram because I send him photos of cats every day, like doing really fun stuff. Whether it's just cats making milkshakes, cats dancing and stuff like that, because I have an obsession with these AI cats. And that's another thing. When I see AI art out there, like, Jordan, don't say that because I might actually end up moving there. When I see that out there with cats, like all this artwork of like bedrooms and stuff, it's pretty, but it's like AI generated. It's not the same as like someone actually put in their heart and soul into stuff and creating a piece of art, right? Now, we're bringing up the issue of who AOC, dude. I used to listen to my bartender too, but when I was drunk, everyone's saying this stuff of Maui being burnt down on purpose it's possible. Yes. I think a lot of these things, we talk conspiracy theories sometimes on here. We talk about a lot of stuff, and sometimes I don't know if it's really a conspiracy theory when you think about these things, because I'm in Santa Monica, California. And right now, people thought I was crazy when I said they're trying to up the crime rate here and the homeless to bring down the value of a lot of places. And when you bring down the value of places here, it means a developer could go on in and buy it and, refurbish it, renovate it, and then get all the homeless out and everything, and then up the prices, charge extraordinary rents and condos. But it's become so unsafe here. Like if you live in a bad neighborhood, not in a bad neighborhood, let me scratch that. If you live in an area where it's overly populated with crime, with people doing needle exchanges in the streets, homeless, where they're not doing anything, like they're causing crime, but they're not being arrested, you have every right to arm yourself, whether it's with a gun, mace, whatever it is you need to do. Because when shit hits the fan or something happens to you and you do not know how to defend yourself, you can't sit there and roll over. The U.S. Virgin Islands are the best. Yes. Well, no, they don't know what bathroom to use, Cappy Caveman. What's this whole thing about the Cuban Missile Crisis? I'm very concerned, or we're very curious about this, John Jay. Newsom needs his butt kicked. Yeah. Well, I was a little bit of unknown Jasmine trivia. I was heading a coalition in one of the coalitions in Southern California to have Gavin Newsom recalled. I went out there and I was collecting signatures. I was speaking to a lot of younger voters. A lot of them were getting their news off of TikTok. And when you get your news off of someone twerking or these influencers, you got to really think twice. Like, I grew up in an era where we just watched the news, like whether when I lived in England, it was like BBC, ITV, whatever it was. Here, it's whatever is on TV. I don't even watch Fox News anymore. And this is where I get my news, but I go out there and I research it. One of the biggest misconceptions a lot of younger voters had about Larry Elder is that he was going to get in, become governor, and start like executing people. Where did you see this? Did you read it? Well, no, I heard you got to like go out there and read. That was not on his agenda, by the way. Russia is moving missiles through South America again. Yep, I believe it. And we have a really great presidency in the USA. We have a really strong military, I think. We have the he, she, they, thems of society in the military, and I think they are strong and they're going to go out there and fight. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Let me just see. You just moved. And by the way, real quick, my favorite station, I'll tell you guys what I'm subscribing to on Roku. I subscribe to BritBox, which is British TV. I'm not making fun of anyone British, but it's the best TV in the world because you have shows like Midsummer Murders, things like that, right? So when you get, if you subscribe to BritBox on Roku, the best British series, I think, and Rebecca, I don't know if you've seen this series, was Midsummer Murders. Love that show. I mean, it's just the acting is so great. And the actors on there, wonderful. The storylines, everything. The last episode I watched, it was someone who had ligature marks on their necks from being murdered. But the thing is, it's one of the best. I love it. I did not see Who Killed WCW on Vice TV, but I have a feeling, is this the second or third? You see, Rebecca gets it. See, her mom loves it. Your mom's probably my age, I think. I don't know, probably around that age. But and by the way, I don't know how old you are, Rebecca, but one thing I will throw out there to everyone is anti-aging. Start at first. It's for guys too. It starts from your skin and what you're doing with your skin. And there's always something out there for everyone. I'm going to be running a weekly podcast for 15 minutes called The Ageless Evolution with Jasmine St. Clair. When I was 25, I started taking care of my skin. I can't fire my weapon. My commanding officer didn't use the proper pronouns. Oh my God. What season of Dark Side of the Ring are we up to? And I didn't see Who Killed WCW on Vice TV. I feel as though it's a whole Vince McMahon thing. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Call me whatever. And I think we're also in a generation, if you got to wonder what your pronoun is, and I'll say this, if you have to wonder and sue people about being misgendered, you are privileged. And, you know, if I were hiring someone and I got back into consulting for wrestling companies, I'm working as a consultant for a company in North America right now, a wrestling company, because I ran a wrestling company for years called 3PW. So I'm helping someone out now. And, you know, someone actually emailed a resume for something or another to work there. The second I saw pronouns in there, that's not someone I want to hire doing anything like doing vendor duties or whatever, because that person will eventually sue you. Truth be known. Okay. Denzel Washington once mentioned that if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. Okay. If you do read it, you're misinformed. Well, guys, I don't know. I think that's an open statement. I was actually taught at a very early age to read an encyclopedia and read a dictionary. So I would read a dictionary at the age of 9. Like I go through a page here, a page there. It was really tedious. And my mom always told me that keeping up on current events is very attractive. So I think it's a very attractive trait in people when you don't necessarily read just tabloids and stuff like that, but really research things. I was head of the Young Republican Club in my school. Cappy Caveman. Russo was pissed at who killed WCW. Why? And who do you think really killed WCW? What are your guys' thoughts on that? I thought Vince Russo personally had a really good brain for the business. What's everyone's thoughts on that? Is it just me? The reason I never worked there, I did like one episode with Jerry Muborash and WCW, whatever they were doing, was because of a past in porn. But yet, you had girls that were like actively stripping in clubs and doing shit and hooking and fucking and sucking and whatever. No events in Florida. Let's see, Bischoff. Why do you think Eric Bischoff Paul, why do you think Eric Bischoff killed WCW? I want to hear that first. And then I want to hear why Cappy thinks Russo is the drizzling shits, because he brought a lot of TNA to WCW. So why do you think Bischoff killed WCW? And Cappy, why do you think Russo is the drizzling shits? I'm just waiting. I just want to know what people think about this. Ken, Vince Russo is a typical New York douche. He brought real to wrestling, real names, no gimmick. I don't understand what you mean by that. Like you had Big Papa Pump, you had Scott Steiner, you had Medeja, you had that's like the first thing I think of, Big Papa Pump. Tylene, you had Major Guns, you had all these people. So I don't get it. No wrestling background when Bischoff came into wrestling. Okay. What was Paul Heyman's background when he started ECW? Does anyone know what his background was? What about Paul, Ken? I remember Gorgeous George. Yep, she now has a Southern food eatery. Okay. Oh, you're saying Paul. Oh, yeah. He made an actor the world champ. Okay, who was the actor that he made a world champ? I totally forgot. Like, I didn't really watch WCW because of their lily white values with Turner Network, Turner Family Network photographer. But anyway, I want to know who this actor was that he made a world champ, because I forgot who all the champs were at WCW. I knew the Filthy Animals. I loved Conan. I think he's one of the best wrestlers they had there. Disco Inferno had so much charisma with his character. David Arquette. Fuck that. Yeah, you don't make an idiot. Like, whose idea was it to make David Arquette a champ? But whose idea was it, Cappy? Because that like disgusts me. I thought first of all, my friend saw David Arquette in an AA meeting. I don't know what he was doing there. So that's how you make your champ. Okay. So let's make David Arquette a champ. Why? I have an idea. Why don't we make him a deathmatch wrestling champ? That was just bad. Yeah, that's what you call vanity casting right there. Which is what they tend to do a lot of in Hollywood. So Russo did that. All right. Well, then now I get it. Fine. Okay. So that's actually a shitty thing to do, because you have guys out there that, that break their balls and work years and years to do something. You have a lot of guys out there sitting on the indies that deserve a chance. And even back in that day. So I see so much talent in indie wrestling. And, then you have people just sashaying on in there, like from these little contests, like Tough Enough and so forth. Good. I'm glad that Nick Gage destroyed Arquette in a death match. I hope he beat the shit out of him. Sorry. Okay. Did anyone recall that David Flair stuff? Like, what was that about? I know about the Ric Flair incident recently in Florida, which I thought was horrible. Like, he should not have cursed off a server at a restaurant. Like, just the way he went off on those people was just unacceptable, especially for a public figure who goes, woo! Sorry. I've had like too much espresso and like I'm amped up. I was amped up earlier. First, he was nuts. Okay. Anyone else? David Flair and that girl scream. What was her name? What's this about? What am I missing, guys? What am I missing about David Flair? Was this part of a wrestling storyline that he was with a new blonde, or was the blonde another man? I just don't understand. Oh, Daphne. Okay, well, that's very sad what happened to her, actually. Yeah, I could have sworn a few weeks ago I saw a photo of a phone sex line from like the late 90s, and it looked just like Kimberly Page, the photo. Yeah, Daphne was she was a really talented, skilled wrestler and very talented as an entertainer. One of my favorite entertainers he doesn't look like a psycho. One of my favorite entertainers of all time I like would be Miss Elizabeth, wrestlers, PCO. That's like one person I've yet to work with. Um, Nowadays, I mean, I watch so much of the stuff like at MLW, GCW, a few places. But I don't know what everyone's thoughts are on deathmatch wrestling. I feel as though it's too much. And for any promoter, it's got to be so expensive because those tubes are like $6 a pop or $10 a pop, no pun intended. It's like super expensive. I feel as though they're like overdoing it now, you know? Russo can, yeah, of course not. I don't think XPW can book XPW either. But so yeah. I mean Russo can book anything right now, but he has a great podcast. I was not in any lucha companies. That I would want to do in the drop of a hat. I had Disco Inferno on my show last week. It'll be out on Crazy Train podcast. If you subscribe on Apple, Crazy Train with a K, Crazy Train with Jasmine St. Clair, and you could see when a new episode drops on Wednesday. But we were talking about lucha companies, and also, I like Conan's. I like AAA because they actually dress up and they do an actual show, right? John Jay, what happened with them? Well, Paul, you can explain better. John, I explained it to you in a message. It's a legal thing now, but you don't disrespect someone that's been around the business for 25 years, especially the wife of an owner who can't wrestle, and turn the story around. And you don't have your right-hand man who's a botch fest, bad talking talent, so they don't get work. That's all I'll say. But yeah, that's what happened. Lucha companies, I think J Love worked at quite a few of those. Specifically, yeah, she was down in Mexico doing something. And thank you, Paul. That's why a lot of people won't go there anymore. I'm just yeah. Rebecca, I mainly watch deathmatch wrestling and I'm making my way through the ECW archives. That's great. Okay. I feel as though, I feel like hardcore wrestling is making a comeback because deathmatch has been so overdone. Because what can they do next? Will they start snuffing people out? Like I like the POR stuff that JJ Allen does. I had him on the live stream once. It was so funny because they had someone like driving a car into a freaking trailer, Old XPW shows could probably they exist out there. I was there in the 90s when they first started. It was a really fun time. And yeah, those are out there somewhere, but they had a really good program at one point. Yeah, I bought Lou Nixon's shirt as well. Me and Veronica bought them. So we have a couple of those. You're not missing anything, Cappy Caveman. Trust me, you're not. I'm glad that I was able to bring Necro Butcher back in one piece and that he'll be in Newark. So that's really great. That's rich. I think it's great. And, hopefully people go there to meet him. But anyway, so Rebecca, I thought you were like in your 20s or something. Oh my God. Here I am, like, I'm probably your mom's age. Well, hold on. No. Okay. But yeah, you've got it. Like, I hope you're catching up on Midsummer's Murders because those are great. And for some reason, I thought Rebecca was like a 20-something-year-old girl. I don't know. Rebecca, I guess because I'm just around so many younger deathmatch wrestling fans that are girls that love this stuff. I get squeamish around blood personally, so it's really tough. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. Okay. catch up to the old ECW archives, because that's what good ring psychology and storytelling looks like. A lot of indies, and even when I went to AEW the other night, I mean, Tony Khan he's great. He has endless finances, I believe. I think Prince Nana is doing great with his gimmick. I remember when he used to wrestle before. But there's so many people also that are out there that just do spots, like for the sake of doing a spot. I call them spot monkeys, that they just kind of do big moves for doing this for the sake of it. And perhaps now's the time to really focus on storytelling, right? Then it gets tougher in a deathmatch company, because if you keep doing deathmatch after deathmatch after deathmatch, it's a lot of money to put those matches on because of the gimmicks, between the gussets, the light tubes, things like that. Yeah, exactly. Things, no, Cappy, I haven't been there since since March when I left. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And yeah, Nana did work for me in a 3PW show, but the company X Brand Wrestling is a really good company. They're having a great show on June 23rd. I have friends booked on that show. I know that Paul and Ken are good wrestling buddy friends. You guys should try to come there earlier in the day. I think it'll be a great idea. There are lots of surprises that night too. But I feel as though that's a company that's going to shape up, and do like a hardcore championship, and do maybe a couple death matches. It's like something for everyone. And that's what the right formula is. Because when you think about it, most of your audience is male, right? You have some females as well. And thank you, Cappy. Yes, thank you. And when you're appealing to mostly a male audience, not to take away from the girls, you want to have something sexy up there. You want to have the TNA. But now the problem with a lot of these young managers, both men and women, they are so focused on getting themselves over. The role of a manager is you're in the back, sort of, the foreshadow. It's never your job to put someone over, but it is your job to get involved. It's your job to keep things going, whether it's slapping a mat, shaking up a ring rope, using a weapon, and telling a story. People don't know how to do it. But yeah, I have friends on that show. I think you guys should check out X Brand Wrestling that day for sure. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be a really remarkable show. It's June 20. Guys, what day is it? June 23rd? Sunday, June 23rd at 12 noon in Howell, New Jersey at the Shelter. I think they're going to have a lot of good stuff going on. One of my good friends is on the show too. So it's going to be a good thing. Yeah, you guys don't need, y'all, yeah. Ken and Paul, I think, are having some kind of a gay thing. Because Ken sends me like photos of these AI cats like doing things like making food. I'm like, bro, cats can't cook, right? Then he sent me an AI today of a cat using a phone. I'm like, bro, no, they cannot use phones. Enjoy your new meds. No, I'm joking. It's the other way around. I tell him those things all the time. So yeah. So June 23rd, actually, I think New Jersey has some really good shows that day. You have June 23rd, June 23rd, you have X Brand Wrestling at noon in Howell, New Jersey. Then later on that night, I have some friends on a show at the H2O Arena. H2O Wrestling is doing a show. So it'll be really nice. It'll be very pleasant, I think. It'll be a great day with two amazing shows to go to. And then obviously I'm doing Primos in Primos in Colorado on the 30th. In Colorado, Primos, and then New Mexico on the 28th, and then the UK, which will be a lot of fun. I can't wait. So CXW Wrestling, and it's in Braintree. I think that's pretty close to Essex. Then Scotland for Bleeding Gums. So it's going to be fun. I mean, this is great. This is what this business is. And, you go from one company to another and you just go, where you feel welcome and where people value you. And that's the ticket to it, and the more you get away from stuff and people that don't serve your purpose and your success, because they're not on your level, is the better life becomes, But yeah, that's it. a 5-minute, a 2-minute bit about Winston-Salem. Yes, that's right, WrestleCade. I will be there too. And then also November, somewhere else in the UK at a signing. So there's stuff out there. And, with that said, the secret to anti-aging are peptides. Copper peptides, I have to tell you, are the best for the hair. And I'm not getting paid to say this, but I started doing it and my hair got a lot thicker. Considering like the crap I put it through, it got softer and thicker. So anyone who's like struggling with their hair, try the copper peptides. Will I do an election night live stream? Yes, I will. I will do that. I think it's appropriate. Maybe what I'll do is I'll see if Val Venus, if anyone could tell me what night election night is, what day of the week it is, maybe we can get Val Venus on here because I'm trying to book him for a live stream, but he can't do Mondays. He could do weekends. So we could probably do a post live stream. Maybe we'll have Chrissy Mayer on that night. Maybe we'll have a few people on, but we should just have a watch party for election night. And I'll bring on I'll bring on 2 conservatives and bring on 2 progressives and see what happens. What about Nick Gage? Let's see. Nick Gage did a one-off in AEW, which women would be good for an AEW one-off. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a Tuesday, November 4th. If Val Venus is around, if he's not working that Tuesday, I will bring him on. If we do the watch party, we'll do it election night and we'll get a few people on here. I don't know if I'll be able to book any liberals or progressives on here as friends, like calm ones, because a friend of mine got super emotional on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, bro, you're being emotional over this and not thinking with logic. I appreciate logic and people that speak calmly and could find the logic in things and the points, right? Instead of being, and usually when you have to deal with people like that, you have to get emotional and speak to them on their level, which is just really not good for anyone, So yeah, Cappy Caveman. I know why you call yourself Cappy Caveman, because you're in a cave somewhere. Yes, and that's it. Hellstrom, where exactly are you from? Because I know you're on here sometimes, and I just, for some reason, I think you're from somewhere else. I don't know why. Yeah, I know. Which voice was fun? Oh my god, no, don't do that. Which voice was funny? Was it this voice that I was doing that was funny? Or was it this voice? Or was it this voice? Like, oh my god, I can't believe that you're saying all this stuff about me. Oh my god. Which one was it? It was my friend Harry that was upset that I was talking about the 10-year-old kicking the drag queen in the balls. And he didn't understand that there's a difference between a clown at a kid's party. Oh, by the way, here's a really interesting fact about Beasler knows what I'm talking about. Here's an interesting fact. Here's the thing, Hellstrom. Okay, you have someone like Jessica Biel. Yeah, I'll do it in a bit. Jessica Biel, who I'm pretty sure votes blue, and her husband, some idiot, Justin, what's his name? Whatever. They moved to Tennessee, right? So did they move there? They said because their kids have more freedom there. What kind of freedoms do they have? For you to put like fucking braids in little boys' hair and put them in the dress? Like, why did you go to Tennessee? Is it to try to make the state blue? Let me ask you something, Hellstrom. Are there more red cities in Tennessee than blue cities? Or is it growing blue? That's what I want to know. Who the fuck wrote a book about periods? Okay. Rebecca, it's totally fine. And you're more than welcome to, it's okay. If something ends, this is the same way I root this in like anything. If it's a business relationship where you work somewhere and things ended badly, even if you run into those people in another locker room or anything, you know what you do? You just walk by them like they don't exist. And that's the way you do it. That way they know you don't exist to them. And that's it. But I certainly hope no one abused you and you're okay. Which character with Chrissy, the AOC one? I'm for the people. Yeah. Of course, Democrats like Jessica Biel, she's moving to Nashville. It's ruined more blue. Wait, what are you saying? I'm sorry. Democrats are moving to Nashville. It is ruined. Wait, are they staying red or blue in Nashville? And Jessica Biel and her little boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it is, they just need to move out of there. Like, these people in Hollywood are the worst. So it is staying more red then. Okay. So it just got to stay red. You know what I mean? But Rebecca, that's all you do. Like, at, at that age, like, at any age, really, you just ignore the person. There are people that I've worked with before. Like, anytime I've seen the blue meanie in a show, I don't care. I just walk past them. I have no problem existing in a locker room with someone where I don't have a great ending with, or like, I'm just not friends with them, but I could just still stay in an area with someone and it coexist. And you just mind your business and that's it. And just be professional. You don't have to get like all, some of these guys get like little man bitches. Nashville is blue. Jasmine is an incredible singer. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Anyway, what was I doing? Was I singing? When was I possibly singing? Tell me. So I used to watch Mr. Rogers as a kid. Hey. Hey, V, how are you? Hi. V's another one that I know from X. I met her on Twitter Spaces. We were just discussing, no one's watching the news since the Trump trial. V, I've got to have you on here one night for my live stream, maybe when we have the watch party for the election night. I was just on... What frickin' podcast are you talking about, Joe? Anyway, so we were going on about the drag queen thing yesterday with the 10-year-old. And then a friend of mine who I used to work with was like so upset with me for talking about, like, I wasn't promoting violence, I was just promoting what kids should be doing is taking jujitsu to defend themselves. Now you have idiots like Jessica Biel, William Macy, who's the other one? Justin Timberlake, Tumber, whatever she calls himself. Going to Tennessee, and they're going to ruin a perfectly great place. Copper peptides, my love. Okay, so the copper peptide, this is on my hair. I have a lot of growth up here too. It's a peptide that helps with the hair growth. It helps with sleep. I put in 0.2 units once a week for 5 days straight. Then I take 2 days off. That is for your hair. I also take Nutrafol, 2 pills in the morning on an empty stomach, 2 pills in the day later in the day. Nutrafol is good for guys and girls. And it's also good for guys. I was also saying stuff about the skin. When you start exfoliating your skin a couple times a week, that clears up the pores on your face and everything. And you want to keep that clean at all times as often as you can. Ageless Evolution with Jasmine St. Clair, which will be a weekly thing for guys and girls. It's 15 minutes, but copper peptides is what helps the hair. I use NAD 3 times a week as well as an injection, and I'm on HGH like almost every day. Copper peptides you should ask a doctor for it. I take a certification in it, so I'm very well aware of what they are, but there are also ones for pain that you inject straight into wherever you have pain. If you have anything in your trapezoids, your legs, your knees, it's going to be fun. But I believe, I'm a firm believer in that. That's how my hair is kind of weird and wild now. It's growing. I've never had this type of growth before, and my brows got thicker as well. I took my eyelashes off because I had a lower bleph and they needed me to take my lashes off. And now my lashes are growing too, which is so it's, and the Nutrafol is the one thing you want to get to. It's expensive, but you're investing in your head of hair. And I had extensions at one point. The second I took those extensions out and started deep conditioning my hair once a week and taking care of it, it just grew back out. It was always long, but I just wanted it thicker. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Yes. When was I singing, though? I want to know when you heard me singing. Was I doing the Mr. Rogers thing? I used to watch Mr. Rogers, and there's this cat, right? I don't know if Ken could find the video and drop it in the chat. Okay. Oh God, I'm so embarrassed. It was the cat on Mr. Rogers. Remember the cat? Anyone? No? Meow, 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 beautiful. Meow, meow, telephone. Meow, 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 beautiful. Oh, Mr. Rogers. Meow. Remember that? Okay. What theme? Springtime. Oh, shit. Which theme were you talking about? Oh, I was watching the producers. Okay. Springtime for Hitler in Germany. Springtime for Hitler, for you and me. Was that the one? Don't be stupid. Be a smarty. Come and join that thing. What was I singing? Oh, Mr. Rogers. Meow. Okay, that's it. That's all the singing for this evening. Yep. Send the recommendation. Yep. This is I think everyone on here wants to extend their life somehow, right? You want to stay alive to, to see all this craziness go away. It's part of being hydrated, part of not being a white trash wrestler, beating yourself over the heads with light tubes or gussets. It's stuff like that, oh my God. But you know what? The Producers is one of those great movies, and that's where women were women. You had who was in the remake? Uma Thurman. She looked gorgeous. There was no video of it, Scott, because it was my friend's son's school, and this happened in New Jersey. He's special needs. So what happens is there's a very fine line of it. But I have another video of drag queen lap dancing for a bunch of young girls. And it was at a school in Oregon from like last year, and it was really fucking scary. Like this thing had long blonde hair, like a long rainbow haired wig, and he's like lifting his leg up. It's like his freaking ball's gonna drop out or something. But you can't have that up there. It's a special needs thing. I just happen to be friends with my good friend who's actually a lawyer, whose kid performed this action. He took jiu-jitsu since he was like 5 or 6 years old. A kid is impressionable. You see something scary like that, who in their fucking right mind puts a man dressed up in women's clothing and makeup perusing around a young child? Of course they're going to get scared, and their natural instincts are going to kick in. Same thing as if it was a priest taking out their shit. You know what I mean? V, are you in California? I'm not sure. I forgot. But Jersey is literally a purple state. I mean, I say we just go ahead and just divide up the states. And then let's just all grab our popcorn in the red areas and, move forward from there. And as far as like this Trump trial, I mean, he's got to get other lawyers. Because that bitch, seriously, she has the money to pay him back. To her husband just bought her a ranch in Florida, like not a really nice one, but she should just sell that and pay him back the money she owes. Yep. And just get out, because she's atrocious. I never liked Stormy Daniels. I think she looks like Jill Biden, and no, in public schools, these are grown men sexually assaulting minor children in federally funded schools. Okay. And then, we want to talk about Hollywood, right, V? And just people there. There's a lot of this shit. Like there's a reason. Okay, let's focus on this for 1 second, regardless of what political party you are in or not, or you like. And I'm not saying come and join the Nazi party. Regardless of what it is, let's think about one thing: the future of this country, right? And why is it? And I had this conversation with Sherry Curry earlier from the Runaways. Why is it in Hollywood they are insisting on only showing liberal progressive values? Why can't they have the freedom of speech? Ronald Reagan was a Republican, one of the best presidents of our time. He was an actor. Why is it these elitists, these celebs, cannot say that they are conservative unless you're like Kevin Sorbo. Yeah, they should not be letting trans women work with kids. Now, wait a second, Rebecca, did they just stop? I thought in the UK they have trans men working with kids. Please let me know if this is not, if that's happening. You're saying you can, but I also heard in the UK they stopped gender affirming surgery. So you're affirming an illness when you do that. When you give gender affirming, how did this turn into a political podcast this evening? Could someone just tell me? Usually I have a guest on and we're having fun being giggly and cutesy wootsy and talking about sex and hot things. And it came into this real political thing, but I think it needs to be addressed. So guys, anyone out there should be 18 anywhere. Gay adults need to stay away from public school. Men, women, indifferent. Why touch trans kids community? You know, and secondly, okay, you grown men that are failed male athletes need a retirement plan. I got it. Let me be she, he, she, her, and compete against females where they have every chance of losing. That's my retirement plan. I suggested, why not just let them compete against each other, right? Well, it's only a tiny majority of people that want to see that. You know, we have to go through this Epstein client list. That's a project right now. Yeah, because in the UK, they get it. You know, they won't let it. Let's go through the Epstein client list. Here we go. Let's go through it. I can't put it on the screen. So let's see. Epstein flight logs. Let's go through the flight logs. Epstein flight logs. Here are the flight logs. Okay. All right. So there's the police report in Santa Monica. So he was actually arrested then. So when you go through the Epstein flight logs, there are flight logs on here that have 3 letters on a name. Okay. So let's see what we have. Epstein's Angels. I think we had these flight logs as a topic once before, and I feel as though we have to put it up here. I'm going to go through them. That's my homework this week, guys. I'm going to go through these flight logs. It's 80 pages. And I'm going to see who's on there. But I could tell you right now, anyone with the initials DJT was never on those flight logs. Trumpy Baby was not on the flight logs. Trumpy would not do that. Trumpy Baby might have been on the island, but there are a lot of people that went to Epstein's island because he had celebrities there all the time. Here we go. Flight logs. FLIGHT. Flight logs. Here we go. You know, so you have like, when you have someone like Alan Dershowitz that was on the flight log, right? February 5th, 2004, November 17th, April 16th, October 21st, February 9th, right? Then you go on here and you see like female, no name. That's because they're underage at the time. But like some of these, the girls are like 24 years old. One female, Mandy Dubin Pashow. Yeah, it's like, and then you see the initials of these people on here. But I have the whole flight logs. I'm going to go look through them. Okay. Yeah. If that initial is on there, I could look it up. But that is one thing people didn't know that I actually possessed for a while. I told people I had it. They didn't believe me. Then I sent it to someone and somehow it leaked. But anyway, so moving right along. No one should let a trans person around a kid because it's a mental illness. South America, is it Argentina or Venezuela, have declared people that are trans, they've called it a mental illness. So now in the city of Santa Monica, California, they're now allowing psycho people like crazy drug addicts that are violent offenders to move into below market housing that it's geared for elderly people that have been there for many years with ties to the community, single moms, you know, with families and stuff. You're not supposed to share it with these people using needles and assaulting the general public. To transition, you hear of kids and teens saying they identify as the opposite sex, but it's not common. It's mainly old men dressing up. Exactly. It is disgusting. You know, I don't know. And they're protected, by the way. The category that they are protected under is called minor attracted. But getting back to my question, Why is it Hollywood people are not showing that they are conservative? What are they afraid of? Are they afraid of the deep state? Because now we know the deep state is true, guys. We know that. And you have to, you gotta like, you have to accept that at some point, or accept, you don't even have to accept that, but accept that there's something going on. Because at first they said the laptop wasn't real, and then the laptop is real. You have someone like Val Venus that puts out a photo of Hunter Biden escorting a young girl with a red outfit on into a separate room who's underage. Minor attracted is what you call them because it is a mental illness. Hence, you are disabled. So you call them minor attracted, which is fine. This is what they're supposed to be called. I just call them chomos or pedos. You know, I don't know any other word. And those of you living in high crime cities, you know, or cities that have these vagrants and other violent people, you know, arm yourself. I hear like the ghetto bird right now, and I don't know if it's because I'm saying deep state on here, and it's like, anyway, the Wi-Fi is still on. I'm still here. Okay. But no, I just want to know what people think. Like, why is it that Hollywood elitists and people aren't like admitting that they're conservatives? Why are they doing that? Like, why do they have to be overly liberal? Why do they have to, you know, be do-gooders and all that? What do you think they're trying, besides protecting the obvious, what is it? Yeah, well, Ashley says that Joe molested his daughter, you know, of course, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. The reason I thought you're European is because of some of the bands and also your photo. Ryan Cinch, one thing I'll say, election commercials. You think one of them addressed child predator shit in the U.S. and they won't allow it. But, you know, here we are, vote for me, vote for me. But why do we think these people would get blacklisted if they are conservative? I'm just asking. It's America. You know, anywhere you could have freedom of expression, freedom to vote for whomever you want to. Why is it in Hollywood, though, you can't be that way because you will get blacklisted? Is it because you know secrets about people? Is it because, okay, we won't allow it? All right. Hi, King Brian. Why won't we allow it? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. And Beasler, you know, I want you to chime in at any time because there's a, you know, we have predators out there jacking off with Cadbury Easter eggs and shit and telling people about it. Then you have kids, you know, they're coming after people's kids, these other ones. King Brian, I'm not sure where you're from, but I have a guest next week. So I've just been ranting and raving for the past hour normally. Okay. V, why won't we allow them to come out and be conservative? Do you think they're masking something? Is it because it gives Hollywood a bad look? Because I remember when Santa Monica was a beautiful city. It's still pretty. Denmark. Yeah, Denmark. Ha det bra, danska. Jävla danska. Anyway, so jag älskar dans. Jag älskar Danmark. So Jane Fonda moved here years ago with Tom something or another. And when she moved here, or Tim Haley, Tom Haley, they completely made this place into a complete progressive land. Like they wrote the handbook on it, just like Gavin has. And it just made things go so downward because these people have a lot of money, right? If you have that kind of money, wouldn't you want your stuff protected? Like one of my good friends, she lives in Thousand Oaks. She used to live by the beach and then in Beverly Hills, but didn't like the crime. But she's liberal as fuck. But yet you go to Thousand Oaks and you complain about people having NRA flags. You complain about people having Palmia flags. Aren't those the people that voted? Aren't those people that fought for our country? Red run cities don't have these problems. Systems, okay? Okay. Trump is convicted, yet he could sign a pardon from his cell and be president, and Biden can't hold a sentence. No one's addressing it. A lot of us are addressing it, but people think it's fake news. Do I sound like Trump now? Trump just came to California with his motorcade and had a huge welcome party. That's what was going on. How am I preaching segregation? Please tell me. I'm just curious. Segregation is when you dedicate a whole month to mental illness month. Okay? I have a lot of friends that are homosexual, that are gay, that don't like this stuff. And they're not sitting there asking for this, asking for that. Shata? Huh? Move to what state? Why would I move to that state? What state are you talking about? Oh, dude, can elaborate. Anyway, people in the music business, we have the P. Diddy situation. You know, years ago, I met P. Diddy at the China Club. I didn't know who he was. I just see him there with his buddies. He introduced himself. He said his name's P. I'm like, P? Isn't that something you do in the pissoir? Isn't that something you do in the bathroom? Your name's not P. This is how these people are. Your liberal friend went somewhere. It was more conservative. What liberal friend? Which one? Well, she can go. I don't have. Oh, that one, Neva. Yep. She needed to move. Yeah. She went somewhere where it was more conservative, right? Because Paul, stop. She didn't want to be around the crime that these people vote for, right? You know, and I remember one day driving after an acting class with her. We were in an acting class together, and I was giving her a ride home. And we were right past this cross-dresser, and she's like, I feel so bad for them. You know, it's a human being. You could barely walk on your fucking heels, dude. It's like, he can't even walk on his goddamn heels, you know? It's okay, Ken, you're allowed to. You're allowed to drink and send pussy photos. Pussy photos are the photos of those cats, by the way. So, you know, you're going to a red city where there's no crime. Raising a child, right? Do you want that kid to like go to school and be told, so what do you identify as today? Do you identify, what are your pronouns? Okay, no. Yeah, Studio City is good. It's normal there, I'm pretty sure. DC is a violence pit. Yeah, well, you know what? We have a lot of problems in DC as well. Let's talk about the gulag. Let's talk about, did I really use that word today on this show, gulag? Oh, fuck. Sorry. I promise not to do that here, but I'm just doing it anyway. It's a wild Monday and I'm on fire. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. The DC gulag, you know, you have the J6ers there. So let's talk about that. Okay. So my best friend growing up, her mom ran a lot of things, like a lot of charities and so forth, and a program called Art Without Walls, where I would teach French to children of incarcerated parents. A lot of those kids, their parents were Black Panthers in jail. My friend's mom was in that whole conglomerate. So I get it. These are people who are not fans of BLM. When you have people like Maxine Waters, Camel Toe Harris, Alcohol Pelosi saying, take it to the streets and burn cities down, that is inciting a riot, right? Yeah, of course I was on TV shows. We used to teach kids not to get in the van with the guy who offers you candy. Now they want this, they want the psycho in the van. Offering your kids a shimmy session like that, you know? Like, I've been to drag shows. I know what they are. They're sexy. They're fun. If you're 18 and over, you know, my friend on here, like, I'm not going to say who, but some of these drag queens are done up really well. And a friend on here, yeah, I did shimmy shake, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy for the drag queen. Now, he picked up with a drag queen, like he didn't know it was a man. And then he went out to dinner with this man who he thought was a woman. And I walked by this restaurant that they were eating at, and he had like a nice carafe of wine and everything. I'm like banging on the window. I'm like, bro, that's not a man, that's a woman. I'm like texting him. Finally, he picked up the phone. I'm like, I just walked by. That is not a woman, that's a man. But he knew. And like it was too late to get out of the date. So if you've been at Valley Library readings with drags, tell us how that's been, V, because I'm curious how it goes down there. In Santa Monica, they did a drag queen read with Mr. Pickles. There was no background check on Mr. Pickles prior to bringing him in to read to little children. They shut that down. They had this at the Annenberg Recreation House. You know, Joe, I didn't say it. You just outed yourself. You just outed yourself. No, I'm joking. It wasn't Joe Beasler. Black Panthers used to riot here all the time. Yeah. I'm glad Philly is down. Oh, way back when. Yeah. Way back when it's different because you and I are in the same, I think we're basically in the same category of growing up, if we ever really did, when drag was fun. Like I'd still go to drag shows. I have friends that are drag queens in Vegas that do things, but they put it in a stipulation in their contracts with the clubs. I will, no problem performing, but no one under the age of 18 in the audience. No all ages drag shows, because that is opening a door, my friends. That is opening a door to bring your friends or bring your children around sickos. You know, there's something seriously wrong with an adult that wants to dance in front of children. Whether you're a man or you're a grown woman, you just don't do that. Seriously. Ken, the fuck? You would still fuck a lady boy from Thailand. I wouldn't want one teaching my kids. Exactly. Well, you see, I get it. You got to be adventurous at some point, but you're an adult doing this stuff. But you know, you don't want those people around your kids because these people are coming for your kids. They're coming to dismantle a nuclear family all around the world. And they go after the most vulnerable component, which are kids. And that is the truth, my friends. Sorry, this got completely political because I promised myself this would never be a political podcast. That's on the Rumble show. I think it's after speaking to Sherry from the Runaways, and we were talking about all this stuff earlier. And then the whole Twitter thing. Yeah. Anyway, kids have no options because they have no voice, as V is saying. Right. Kids have no options, but you always expect the best in the adults around you to do the right thing. A friend of mine, Gabrielle Clark, she's on Twitter under Gab Fights Indoctrination. She's on Twitter. She was a guest on my show on Rumble, Ice Cold Conservative, which has been rebranded to the Jasmine St. Clair Show. And she has resources that are free for parents. If people are saying inappropriate things to your children, you have that right to say something, and you have that right to de-groom them. What are you up to these days? Go on Twitter, wrestling, acting, everything, and a podcast, Crazy Train with Jasmine St. Clair, every Wednesday. This past one was just Veronica Love, who's been on there, and she was great. She used to be a skater chick. It's cool when girls are just prime example. Just because someone was doing tomboy stuff doesn't mean that they want to be a boy. When we're little, we don't like each other. Boys don't like girls. Girls think you guys are fucking gross and disgusting. We still do when we're grown women. But then thank you, Ken. And then if you could type in the name of the podcast, that would be great. Then, you know, little boys don't like little girls. Doesn't mean we want to be a different gender. Private schools are starting to have trouble with child violence from teachers, the police. Yeah, well, they do. They do. You know, you got to figure out what that is. Are they giving these kids puberty blockers? You know, is that what they're doing? I want to know. Seriously, I want to know. Because if that's what they're doing, there was a 16-year-old girl during the pandemic who was transitioning, or they were giving her something or another, and she killed herself. She sat on a train track. That's one of the casualties. It's one thing being an adult taking testosterone to, like, I don't know, to boost your energy and other things. But it's another than to give it to a child. Seriously. It's something you don't want to do. And I'm glad, Rebecca, that you're chiming in from the UK, because I think I think the States need to start, uh, you know, since they want to change things so much and like accommodate terrorists, they need to start changing things the way Europe is going. Number one, Italy banned lab meats. That's great. If you're in Italy and you're a biological male, you are no longer allowed to compete with a biological female in a beauty competition, just like in Maryland. It's like Paul Corbin or like Ken getting dressed up, or like Joe Beasler or someone putting on a wig and makeup and getting some surgery and entering a contest against a woman. It's the same shit. And winning. And you have these girls, they're clapping and happy. Oh, this is great. No, the minute these girls refuse to compete with this stupid madness is the minute it stops. The minute parents start stepping in is the minute this stops. Yeah, I know you'll win, Ken. Child chemically messing with kids' growth blockers. There was a commercial about it. What? So Ryan is on here saying that there's a child chemically messing with kids' growth blockers. There was a commercial about it. I don't know. Expand on that, please. Then you have the case of Canada, where you guys have to exactly explain some more on this, because it's confusing sometimes. Beasler, all I was trying to make the point, because you have long hair, is if you put makeup on and fake boobs, it would be like you going into a beauty contest competing with a bunch of really cute girls and winning. That's the comparison. But in Italy, they don't allow that. And I think we got to step this up in sports as well. Women's sports. I wonder what a lot of you think. What are your thoughts on like Nyla Rose, people like that, that are blatantly trans, competing against women, even though it's wrestling, Yeah, no kids wants to be chemically treated. It's like taking your fucking animal in and like giving it a different set of giving it a different gender or doing something crazy, Trudeau, yes. And that's the thing. So you have Hollywood protecting. I think they're protecting pedos. It's what me and V were saying. It's like, but you're such do-gooders. Like, the more a person is a do-gooder, do you think the more it is that they have guilt as to what they're doing? Like you have Charlize Theron being a do-gooder and all this stuff. She adopted an African-American boy, dresses him up as a girl, and puts braids on him. That's not fair to do, because you're automatically putting your child out there for humiliation. Yeah. Okay. So suicide rates do go up after transition. They have some of the highest suicide rates in the world. Trans people do. I knew someone that was writing an article for Vanity Fair about some newscaster once named Chris something, and then it transitioned to Christine, and was following the whole journey and everything was great. Then finally one day they were doing the photo shoot to accompany the story, and it's back when they had Polaroid cameras for test photos, and the photographer took a test photo and showed it to him. He's like, that can't be what I look like. It's what you look like. Smile, baby, and embrace it, baby. It's you, baby. Christine killed himself not too long after that. It goes into, the only thing like Caitlyn Jenner is against this stuff. I know that he transitioned, but I've never heard of any kind of suicide, anything with him. Do I think he should have gotten Person of the Year? Absolutely not. Because you have vets out there that lose arms. You have people that actually do something. Servicing the community, servicing the world, not that type of shit though. I went to school with someone named Charles Onishi, and I got a Facebook request from Heather Onishi. I'm like, who the hell is this? Wait, did Charles have like a sister or something? I look closer. I see that we have mutual friends on Facebook, some Hells Angels and other people. And I'm like, okay, do they know like this is like what I think it is? He was working at Scores and like at Sapphires as a stripper. and a high-end call girl. I'll leave it as that. To stay in school, schools are starting to require liberal states to take castrators and growth blockers to stay in school. The medication companies, yeah. So this is a big pharma thing, folks. And I don't know if any of you are signed up for clinical trials. I sign up for them for migraines. I got a phone call yesterday or the day before. They're doing clinical trials. She's like, yeah, this is so-and this is Ariel from the clinical trials that you signed up for. We have a Moderna COVID vaccine. We're looking for subjects. Absolutely not. I just hung up the phone. So they will jab this shit in you. If you go to the hospital and you get a blood transfusion, be careful. You know, there are companies out there that have unvaxxed blood. It's up to everyone what they want to do. I personally did not take a vaccine. I would not do that. Plus, I'm afraid of needles. You know, and I know there are a lot of people with really bad things happening to their system now. And there are ways to, you know, go around that. Unfortunately, we have people that are first responders that had to subject themselves to this, you know, and it's not a pretty look at all. Children's brains aren't fully developed and they're pushing puberty blockers. Yes, fuck them. No, they're a bunch of pedos, and it's really what it is. So, anywho, yes. So, yeah, I did accept it because I wanted to see what it was when I saw Heather Onishi. And Heather was Charles, by the way, all throughout grade school. Heather was a guy named Charles Onishi who had a haircut like the guy in The Cure and like new wave and liked really fine men's suits. But we all knew that he was gay and we were all friends with him. We were happy with him as a gay guy, but he wanted to be a woman. Oh, that's where I was going with this. Every time I spoke to him on the phone after he transitioned, unfortunately, he was always really like depressed or something like that. And it's just, I couldn't handle it. It was, it's like a lot to take on. And like, you don't want to be at that person's house if they're super depressed and they end up taking a bunch of pills. Next thing you know, like there's something in the news or whatever. There's just certain things you don't want out there, you know? Being that I feel generous about giveaways today. Rebecca has a Necro Butcher trading card. I too have stuff. I have a couple things too I want to give away today. Okay, but it's not wrestling stuff. Today, yes. Oh, John Laurinaitis released a statement a couple hours ago. I guess it's about the Janelle Grant thing, who was seriously, like, she was heavily into rough sex, is what we learned. And she wanted to live in the same building as Vince McMahon. So she, you know, she could continue their little relationship they had, you know, and that's like some of the things this girl got. So you can't tell me that she was doing this, that she was forced into it. The girl had like literally no skills. Alternative clinical medical care, so that's plastic surgery. Clubhouse access tickets to the Belmont Stakes. WrestleMania private day full. Does that mean you're banging all the boys? Transportation and premium tickets. A $2,000 Nordstrom gift card, probably to buy lingerie to wear for them, and a massive box of Godiva, because that's the best alternative to shit. Let's see. Pearl diamond pave lariat necklace. Well, what kind of pearl was it? Was it liquid pearl? A blue cashmere knee-length cardigan from Nordstrom's. Okay. For what, to cover yourself after you got shit on? Blue cashmere fur hat, gray cashmere shawl, Celine glasses, cable throw. Okay, yeah. So this girl got like that doesn't smell victim to me. And speaking of sexy stuff, make sure to hop on over to adamandeve.com, put in the code crazytrain. That's crazy with a K, and get 50% off. Up to 50% off certain items and, you know, some free stuff. No problem, Rebecca. Hellstrom, what did this say? Could someone please tell me what the statement is from John Laurinaitis, please? If anyone could even just drop the link into the comment section, I could bring it up and we can go through it together and do this. Yeah, the giveaways. What do I have to give away? Yeah, she smashed. I think she took a dildo out of Vince's ass when she was blowing him. most probably. And then after she took that dildo out of his ass, he probably shit on her head. Men wanted to be women. It's a demasculinization of the American male, and we need to remasculate them somehow, If anyone wants a lip print card, a Jasmine St. Clair lip print card, I have 2 to give away this show. 2. Okay, 2 to give away. I can't see the link, Hellstrom. So 2 people on here get a lip print card. Okay, Ken, send me your address. 1 more person with a lip print card. I can't see it in here. I'm going to look for it. 1 more person for the lip print card. Anyone, any takers, go ahead and drop in the comments section that I want. John Laura, as I look for this. Okay, you win, Beasler. I'll need your address. Laurinaitis. Here we go. We got it right here. 5 hours ago. Update on the John Laurinaitis. By the way, his wife is like suffering with cancer, like brain cancer, while he's doing this shit. Okay, so on June 8th, he requested the lawsuit filed by Janelle Grant against him, Vince McMahon, and WWE be transferred to private arbitration. Okay. In a sworn statement, he argued that as a full-time WWE employee during Grant's non-disclosure agreement with Vince, why do these girls go back on the NDAs? It makes doing business with women like go back by 1,000 years. Believe he was exempt from any lawsuits brought by Janelle Grant. The confidential settlement agreement mandates that any disputes be settled through binding arbitration under the Federal Arbitration Act. Grant has agreed to pause her lawsuit at the request of the Justice Department. Okay, you filthy whore. In February, the Wall Street Journal reported that McMahon was under federal investigation for sexual assault and sex trafficking. I'm sorry. I feel bad for people that this really happens to, but this whole lawsuit, I mean, how the fuck was she being? She likes this stuff. It's sad when we have sexual assault and sex trafficking, like real victims. This girl is a filthy pig for like putting herself in the category. She kept coming back. She had 2 years. She could have done this shit. And that's the only update on here, unless there's something else. Statement of material facts. Okay. I think Indy might take over. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. Unless like, I don't know if Indies are really going to take over. I think Impact would be next. And then maybe, I'm sure that Vince has something somewhere. So she agreed to pause this. The legal team filed a document with 3 stated facts in support of the motion sent to Grant's lawyer. All material to the allegations set forth in a complaint. I was an employee of the WWE Inc. As a full-time employee of WWE, it is my understanding that I was listed as a released party from any and all lawsuits caused by any action of the plaintiff. He filed a motion. I personally, I think she should just give that money back. That's just me. Give the gifts back, my cunt. Give the gifts back. And, let's just call it a day, Janelle. You got your money, you got your stuff, you got your condo in the same building as Vince McMahon, and that's it. Maybe the WWE might become better with The Rock as a story, doing everything. Who knows? But I feel that it'll all come back up. Everything will come back up on a swing. I think there's a lot of good indie wrestling leagues out there. I think the best ones right now are like H2O. I think Brand X is coming up. There are a lot of other companies out there. Great Lakes Wrestling, OVW. So something will come up, but we have to have choice. AEW is there, Impact. People don't like that. They got to watch something else out there. They'll go to indie shows. They'll find their favorite wrestler. And indies need to start bringing back storylines and make wrestling great again. You know? Anyway. God, I can't believe I ranted for so long. Normally my rants don't go on for that long. Binge watching the TV show Eric on Netflix, which is freaking amazing. There are two good shows in New Jersey on the 23rd. There's H2O and X Brand Wrestling. You know, and I think if you guys leave X Brand early enough, you can get to H2O in time. You know, just saying. What do I know, right? Joe Beasler is a commentator at X Brand. So he's going to be there. Veronica Kane's there with Christian Ross. I can't wait to see what they're doing. And I heard that they have other surprises. Drake's going to be in the main event. Drake's always a very solid wrestler. I feel like he could have done more with his career in wrestling. Let's hope, you know, he does more shows because he's a great technical wrestler too. I feel like with the death matches, it's so many botch fests going on. Botch, left and right. You know? I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, don't forget to join us next week for April Hunter and to subscribe to my, my podcast, Crazy Train with Jasmine St. Clair. That's K with a, crazy with a K. And, we drop an episode every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube, do likes and comments under everything, people. Please, pretty, please. I will get everything out this Friday to everyone. I know we had Christian Cipollini on a couple of weeks ago. That would be me, Crazy with a K. So don't forget. Good night, Scotty boy. Everyone, be kind to yourselves first and foremost. Hydrate. Be kind to those around you. And protect your free speech and speak your mind. Thank you, Cappy Caveman. Much love to you, Jamal and Paul and Joey and Ken. See, Jamal? I know. Things will go out. Much love to Rebecca and V. And don't forget, of course, what do I say? Stay frosty.